Three,
So-
2, 1.
Are we going to get a ceasefire, or is Netanyahu, because we just talked about him, going to tell everybody to go fuck themselves after he speaks with Congress?
No, well, I mean, this is apparently this. I mean, this is. Well, let's preface it with this. So, anytime the UN passes something,
Well, that's
like
what I'm saying.
this is a recommendation.
Right.
Yeah.
This isn't a doctrine.
Yeah.
Did I say that word right?
No, I don't think so.
I didn't.
You say doctorate?
Doctrine.
Oh, yeah.
Did I say it right?
Yeah.
Okay, see, I'm not a fucking idiot.
Or doctrine, yes.
Oh, did I say it in like 5 syllables?
Yeah.
Okay, great. That's how it works. Right, it's just a recommendation. Like, us as a collective,
Right.
say you should stop.
Right. Which is,
Or
I mean,
at
this
least,
is like
pause, figure it out.
This is like the third or fourth time the UN has tried to get this passed, and the difference today was the United States.
Finally, was like, okay.
Yeah. Which, and...
But that's after, because Biden has mentioned it, he's been ramping up that during his speeches, right? Because it seems to be economy, Trump convictions, and then that.
Yeah.
Or like the big things, talking points going into this election cycle, right?
Yeah, and this is one of those things where obviously it's becoming an international concern,
Correct.
right? And to all the people that want to crap on Biden about all this, which of course, like we said, like we'd have to do like a special episode just to talk about. Well,
damn it, the tight rope that you have to.
Well, I was gonna say is that and I'm gonna send you the link to it, but
like
the Washington Week episode this week like talks about this beautifully, which is, and it's something that we didn't touch on, because again, we are dilettantes. We aren't like, this isn't our job 24/7.
I like to say there are people shit tons smarter than me.
So like this guy pointed it out. So a lot of what the college protests were, the end message that they were saying, as well as some of the pro-Palestinian Americans are saying, not all of them, but some of them are saying, is that they're talking about eradicating Israel altogether, like saying that they're colonists and that they need to be removed. And like that's new, like that's
okay.
No, that's dangerous ground.
We're getting into thank you.
Yeah,
that's the easiest way to put it.
Which is
ground.
That's a fair point to make. Of we never talked about that about the college, but we were talking more about the safety concerns, and
we were also talking about the institution more, that they were boycotting or whatever you want to call it, as opposed to the actual thing. It's like you send money to these organizations who are tied to this.
Yeah,
like that's what I'm protesting.
And this isn't us like backpedaling on it, but
no, not at all.
But I think there were people in the midst of it that were making rational, valid arguments.
Oh, and imagine that there are a handful of us left.
And that, and unfortunately, this is the way government works: is that it's never instantaneous. No. I know some of us want to think that we can snap our fingers and then everything happens.
I wish I was Thanos.
Yeah.
That would be me with zero patience.
Yeah, but then that takes free will out of any fucking thing.
Hey man, Christians.
Which is so this is a sort of logical. I'm not gonna say logical, but
I was just about to say, that might be the wrong word.
Yeah, this is more of like it didn't happen when people wanted it, but it has eventually gotten there. In which Biden is so. He cannot come out officially and go, fuck this dude, meaning Netanyahu.
Correct. No.
So
maybe
he has to
2 years ago, or in 2 years in his second presidency, he could be like, fuck you.
Or like,
I'm done.
When he's giving his second inauguration speech, he can, like drop the mic and be like, fuck that dude.
Fuck you. I got 4 years no matter what.
I love the Israeli people. Fuck Bibi, I'm out.
All of you.
Yeah, but and
now,
even then, that's still too much.
Razor thin lines,
right?
This margins, as it were, where he can't. I would hate to be his team, trying to walk that line.
Well, I mean, imagine Tony Blinken right now, like.
No, he's probably
that dude hasn't probably slept in like 3 months.
He's probably got like a bottle.
Stop! I don't want to go over there again.
Like spinning.
Oh God!
Please God, what a yeah, exactly. That's exactly what he's doing.
Which is like, which is bananas. Is that you're having to have this much trouble with your ally, and
exactly. Which again. The fascinating part, if he shows up,
yeah,
that's one of the he's technically an ally.
Yeah, our primary ally in that region,
right? Yeah. You know why? Because Egypt's like, fuck you. We'll do.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
God damn it!
We have others.
I keep bringing them up because that's who scares me.
Yeah,
more than anybody over there.
Well, once Iran gets their shit back together after the death of their president, like,
oh God,
that could be something scary. But yeah, and again,
oh wow,
I swear to God, it might be the last time.
7 days mourning.
Yeah,
how long do they get?
I don't know.
Is it a month?
Might be.
That's why we haven't heard from him. Carry on. I just wanted to throw that out.
Might be the last time I refer back, but again, there's a really interesting tidbit that I'm not going to get to because I don't have enough background on it. But it's in the Washington week of this past week. Again, shout out to my brother Justin for sharing it with me. It was very enlightening. But there
as it should be.
There's some interesting comparisons, or I should say juxtapositions that the Atlantic author is saying. Now, granted, well,
that's why the Atlantic take those is awesome. In with he's doing them both.
I mean, they're like the Vanity Fair of like foreign affairs.
They're my go-to.
Yeah.
Also sports,
but that doesn't always mean that like they don't need vetting. But
no. But they're pretty. They're the John Oliver of journalism.
But he doesn't paint a good picture of Netanyahu and Netanyahu's cabinet.
No, I mean that. I think that's safe to say by all of the other news coming out of there, and not to mention the optics of it as a whole. But him and his inner circle, are fucking crazy. Might be terrible people.
Yeah, and so
might be they're leaning towards terrible people.
Right. So what we preempted this with, and what when I sent you the article and you texted me back is the idea is that he stays in power as long as this conflict is going on. So
and then dips out.
Right, but then that means is that this is like a quote unquote war on terror, right?
Yeah, it's the war on drugs.
So he can just make that last as long as he wants.
Mission accomplished.
Right.
We're going to get Netanyahu in like 37 years going, mission accomplished, on a aircraft carrier.
I mean, and granted, what was it, like 2 years is when the next election is scheduled? So yeah.
Does it even matter? But yes, it's in 2 years.
Right. So the real question is he going to be like Bush and draw it out to get...
Wait. Can he... The bigger question is, can he put a halt on elections during wartime? I've seen that floated. Especially when he said when the war's over, blah, blah, blah.
Like martial law.
And someone was like, well, what happens when elections come? Like,
right.
Are we just suspending everything because we're in wartime?
Right.
Which is a fucking terrifying thought. A, that this is going to last another fucking 2 years, and B, that this cocksucker could be. And again, I'm right down the middle.
Yeah. Well, no. I will say this:
both sides are terrible.
This should be. I mean, as much as people want to rail against our system of government, and say that, like, we do not have a parliamentary system.
No.
By which, like, things can
There's actually checks and balances.
Well, and that things can be changed kind of willy-nilly.
Yeah.
Like,
willy nilly.
Well, I'm just saying
that is the political term for fluidity.
Well, I was going to say that would apply to Britain in that you understand, there's no singular document that sets up their government. It's this patchwork of random things. Whereas here, we have a document that says no, every 4 years this happens, or every 2 years this happens, every
even
6 years.
If we don't like to follow said document, but
it has to happen.
Correct.
Which and
if it doesn't,
well, and that's also why after FDR they were like, yeah, no, we got to put term limits on the president.
Which again, okay, I'm gonna fucking completely go back to about 40 minutes ago.
Yeah.
When do we do that with the Supreme Court?
Well,
never. That's the answer. Never, because we've broken.
Well,
we jumped the shark.
Short version is that it's been floated out there, but also about the House and the Senate too, about term limits. But all those require amendments
correct,
to do.
Which you're not getting an amendment in today's world.
You would have to have a watershed movement.
Ain't happening.
For each one of those across the country.
Ain't happening.
Probably not.
I don't.
It should happen with the Supreme Court. Representatives.
Facts. I don't. Whatever.
That's up to the people.
I
don't
give a shit about representatives.
Excuse me.
Only because there are so many that the majority
But that's another episode anyway.
Right. That is a complete
now.
different episode. So go ahead.
Well, keeping in mind with this, so I don't know if I sent it to you hoping in the 2 hours before we got here, you might be able to find an article. But so, speaking of crazy conservative governments,
I know where you're headed.
So the EU had its elections, which is foreign to Americans,
right? Yeah. Thank you.
That's the European Union has its own elected representatives.
Which, yes, that's bonkers.
Yeah.
You have each countries, and then you have a governing body. Think of it as FIFA, but maybe not as corrupt, or more corrupt, depending on your point of view.
Yeah.
Not FIFA.
I would
UEFA.
Say yeah, or I would. Well, no, I think UEFA is a better compared because it's just Europe.
Yep.
But so apparently the hard right made significant gains. They didn't take over power.
No, not yet.
Centrists are still in power.
It's terrifying how close they are, though.
So, but here's my question. Say instead of getting into the long discussion about it, but just doing this in the last couple. I know, but we only have a minute left.
Wow.
But so say the next EU election, the hard right.
Do they do every 4?
Or no, it's Europe, so it's probably 5.
It's 12.
Yeah.
It's a fortnight.
Well, it has to be metric, has to be.
Oh, you're right. It's probably 6.
Well, again, French presidents are every 5 years, yeah. But so again, I don't know off the top of my head.
We're calling it right now. That's what it is. Go ahead. For this conversation, you got 30 seconds.
Yeah, so in 5 years, if the hard right actually takes over, do they dissolve the European Union? Because conservatives hate that.
So conservatives hate unions to begin with.
Yeah.
Not much less.
And also collective bargaining.
Continental.
Yeah.
I don't know, because the United States, we have seen that trajectory here.
5 seconds.
Here in the United States, so I would.